That is such a hard interview to dissect in terms of what he was trying to say and what he was not trying to say. But things we've picked up on: one, masters of complication. They overdid things. I'll build up on that in a bit. Secondly, he said he attacked his own players. Too many tricks, too many decisions are going wrong, and they deserve to be punished. Now, if you're a United fan sitting at home, you're a United fan who's bought a ticket in that stadium, would you appreciate your manager? Would Sir Alex Ferguson have done something or said something like this?
You're talking about two different
No, it's a very simple question. Yes or no? Would he have had a go at such an extent at the club he works for?
Fergie, no, not in front of the cameras. Definitely behind closed doors in the dressing room. We all know that there's things going on with him and Beckham in the past, and he would have explained, but he wouldn't have come out and said that in the media. He wouldn't have thrown his players on the bus. And the things I've picked up from there, he was very disappointed in Pogba. And like you say, he just said they complicated everything. They ran out of ideas, and you know he's disgusted with that performance. And if there's Man U fans are watching this, they'll be disgusted and disappointed as well. But Mourinho is really the players will watch that.
He's basically said what we've already covered. You know, they didn't move the ball quick enough. Was one of the comments we made. Well, actually, if you complicate, he said one more touch, they want another touch. Well, actually, if you're having too many touches, you're not moving the ball quick enough. So I think when you're the head coach, you have to give an honest answer, because the general public, the fans, aren't stupid.
But can't you be a bit more coy with how you say things?
Well, maybe he doesn't after a performance like that. And we said, for Manchester United, that performance was not good enough. That's what we've said here in the studio. So, you know, sometimes you just have to be very honest. And I thought he was reasonable. Well, I thought he was totally honest there. And I thought it was quite refreshing.
What I really liked, what he came out and said there, was after the City result, you get the idea, a lot of the players were getting carried away. The beat Man City, had a bit of a swagger about them. And he's having to say, calm down, boys. We've got another game next weekend. And that's what's really got him, because he said he could smell it. He could smell a bad performance coming because people were getting carried away and taking their foot off the...
Yeah, but are those things or kind of things you want to say? It's like working for a company. You know there's something wrong in your company, but you're not going to go up on social media or stand in front of a camera and say, listen, all these people who work for me are absolutely rubbish. Are you going to say that in a daily life?
Well, it's a balance. So as the head coach of a club, it's man management, I suppose, isn't it? He's trying to get the best out of his players. He wants more from his players. He was talking in midweek about he wanted a consistent level from Pogba. You know, he wasn't saying he wants Pogba to score 2 goals like he did against Manchester City last week every single week. He's not expecting it, but he's expecting a minimum level that his player, Pogba, never drops below. I thought he dropped well below the minimum expected of him today.
See, I don't mind that when he's having a go there. If that was myself he was talking about there, self-reflection, have a look in the mirror, yeah, I'll roll my sleeves up, I'll have a go. Seeing other players who that'll affect, and they'll go, I'll down tools, I'm not playing for this guy, he's hung me out to dry. So he's trying, he'll be finding out.
So he's building for next season?
He's putting some seeds out there to find out how his players are going to react when they come into training next week.
So if you take that performance from Paul Pogba from last week out of the equation, would you say that he's actually let himself down, let United down? And the fact that his supposed relationship with his manager hasn't helped the situation?
Well, has Paul Pogba played for Manchester United at the level I was expecting him to play at across a period of time? No. So, therefore, he has fallen below the standards that I've expected from him, the performances I've expected. You have to ask Paul Pogba what he thinks. But I would suggest if Pogba is totally honest, he will say he's disappointed with how he's performed for Manchester United since he's been at the club.
Totally agree.
And there's another talking point from last week which has had a massive implication in the world of football. When Pep came out and said, listen, Paul Pogba and Mkhitaryan was offered to us. The agent came up to us. Raiola came up to us. Following the game, Jose said as well, now he can go and sell this player for any amount of money for the performance. Have you been in a situation with your football agent where he has gone and said something to a club without your acknowledgement, trying to sell you without you knowing that you're going to be offered to another club?
He probably had done in the past, Roshan, but he never told us. I'm sure the agents they do like to fish out there and see and try and get a better buy. But it can be classed in the legal approach if a club does come and do that. But this situation is not helping anything for Paul Pogba and his future at Manchester United, because it's really rubbing Mourinho up the wrong way. Now, the only thing I had issues with Peter Reid is when my agent, I signed with a certain agent and didn't go with another agent. And that affected my relationship with Peter Reid at the time because he didn't feel I went with the right agent. And it cost me a few appearances over the next coming months. So it does go on.
So for the future of Paul Pogba, the football player, whether he stays at Manchester United or not, should he find a new agent? Should he distance himself from this man who seems to be creating more problems than solutions for a very young player?
Well, I guess the first thing is, if he wants to distance himself, can he? Because he's contracted to his agent, I would think. And with an asset such as Pogba, as an agent, you're not going to just pass him up, are you? Because you make money off the back of him. So, number one, I'd suggest that even if he wanted to leave, he couldn't. But I think it comes down to the player himself. You know, it is dictated and driven by the player. So Pogba performs for Manchester United. There is none of this that circulates around this big circus that has been going on, to be honest with you. But I still think the crux of the matter is, for Manchester United, if you look at the top 4 teams in the English Premier League at the moment, Manchester United are the lowest scoring of the top 4 teams. And we've seen them this afternoon against West Bromwich Albion. Couldn't score a goal, can't break opponents down, aren't creative enough to do it. You know, that's the aspect of the game, in my opinion, that Mourinho needs to solve. The Manchester United ability to score more goals is the crux of the matter, in my opinion.
Can he be the man to do that for them with his past record? He wins things,
yeah,
as he was talking about there.
Yeah,
but we know his philosophy. You've got your philosophy as a coach. I've got mine as a coach. He's not going to change that. Can he get the best out of them players? That's my big question mark for United and him as a manager.
So if I throw out a few names, Robert Lewandowski, if they decide to break the bank and go after him, or guys Matuidi from Juventus, if they do decide to break the bank for players like this, would players actually want to go play for Jose Mourinho based on what you've seen so far?
I think most would, yes. I really do, because he's a proven winner. And as a player, you want to win trophies. That said, I think that players also balance up the fact that, you know, they need to enjoy their employment, they need to enjoy the club they're at, and maybe there are other options for them that they can also win at, and maybe enjoy it more than the kind of atmosphere that sometimes Mourinho creates around a football club.
I think it's a lot harder to turn down Manchester United because of the badge than it would be to turn down Mourinho if he was your manager. You'd be probably thinking, well, this is Man United. I'm going to play for Man United. Get me there. And then you work with Mourinho, and managers come and go, as we know. But I think it's harder to turn down a United badge.
So how far or how long do you think United need to give Jose to rebuild the squad? Because he's said it himself. He's in the process of reconstructing this team.
Well, he's been rebuilding it. He's made progress since he's been there. There's no two ways about it. He's won trophies since he's been there. They're in the Champions League again next season by their league finish. And we all know that the fact that Manchester City have won the league by a mile this season, there's no guarantee that they're going to be able to win it next season. Have a look at, for example, Chelsea, when they've won it recently, what's happened. Have a look at Leicester, when they've won it recently, what's happened to them in the following season. So, I think Mourinho will be at Manchester United for the foreseeable future. I don't see any doubt in that whatsoever.
And then Statue just said that's why we love the Premier League, because you never know who's going to win.